Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Chain Reactions. This is not a reaction to a music video. This is a reaction to a controversy that was started by a music video. I don't know if everybody watching this has seen it, but there was a certain pretty significant reactor that reacted to XG's puppet show and had a bad reaction. And by bad reaction, I don't mean the video was bad. I mean that his reaction was bad. That it was not normal, it was not healthy, it was not respectful, and it was not acceptable. And as a reactor, as a male reactor, as an XG fan, and as a fan of a lot of groups that are made up of young women, I felt like I should say something about it. I got a little upset. If you follow me on Twitter, there's a link in my channel for that, but I've been seeing a lot of people who are being affected by this discourse, if you want to call it that, because this person started a very unhealthy conversation. I think this person has an unhealthy attitude about women, and I think that there were people that are trying to hijack this and make this into something that's men versus women, and I wanted to sort of speak up and say that that is absolutely not the case. It is some men against a lot of men and women and non-binary people, and I wanted to make sure that we're not letting one bad actor and his followers spoil that. I'm not gonna say his name or show his clips or anything because I think he's enjoying the attention that he's getting, which makes this even more gross in my opinion. But I think if you know what I'm talking about, fine. If you don't, that's okay because the message is still relevant. Even if you're not an XG fan, the message is that these artists are dealing with very real things in society and in the industry. If you don't know, if you are not a woman, you haven't experienced this, society is filled with anti-woman sexism, misogynistic policies and people and statements and themes, and Puppet Show was not the first time that that's been addressed. It's not the first time it's been talked about. It's not even the first time that XG has talked about it, but it seems to have started this for whatever reason. And I think that first and foremost, it shows that that person, and I've seen comments that are saying things like, this song made me no longer an XG fan. This lyric from Puppet Show made me realize that I don't like XG. And as a male alpha, as a male XG fan, I think that's ridiculous. Mascara was the first XG song that I ever heard. It is literally about not letting a man bring you down, keep you down, hurt you, affect you like that, being independent, being strong. That has been, even if you're not an XG fan, if you read their lyrics, that is what they have talked about from the beginning. It's not the only thing they talk about, but them being tough, them being independent, them being strong, them being bosses, that's like their brand. That's something they push all the time. So if you don't support that, or if that threatens you, or if that upsets you, then you are never actually an XG fan in the first place. And I also think that applies to other groups. I think he mentioned I-DLE too in his little rant. I didn't watch the whole thing because I thought it was just gross and I didn't want to, but this applies to K-pop groups, this applies to Western artists. If a group is made up of women, and you are a fan of their music, and you are a fan of looking at their beautiful faces and watching their dance moves, but you don't respect them as people, and you don't want them to have either equality or protection or confidence or opportunity, then you are not actually a fan. You are a sexist or a misogynist. You are something else, but you're not a fan. I think that's true of literally every group. And this isn't just about girl groups. I don't think most boy group fans feel this way. It just happens to be that the girl groups or a girl group is what's this conversation has been started about. And part of me got a little concerned because as I think I'm older than a lot of other YouTube reactors. I think I'm older than a lot of K-pop and XG fans, and I'm definitely older than a lot of K-pop and the XG idols and members for sure. They're all in their late teens, early 20s for the most part. So I feel like it's a responsibility for an older male fan, even though I'm a newer fan, even though I'm a small channel, to speak up and make it clear that that is not healthy, that is not normal. I'm seeing people on Twitter who are hurt by this, women and non-binary people who feel insulted, rightfully so, based on the things that this person and their fans have said. And that obviously made me want to kind of jump up and say something and just make it clear that that is a certain group that everybody is against, and they're against everybody. It is not men versus women. It is those men against all the other men, women, and non-binary people. So that was part of it. The other part of it is that I was also concerned because a lot of fans and members and reactors are young. I don't want young men to see something like that and internalize it and think that that's a good point he made, because it's not, to think that it's a valid point of view, because it's not, and to think that it's anything other than insecurity and men who are unable to process and deal with their own insecurities and inadequacies. I don't want young male viewers to think that that is how they should think and that that's an okay way to think. I'm here to say that is absolutely not the case. That is wrong. And for the young women and non-binary people who are fans of these groups, and for the young women in these groups, I just want to make it very clear that people who are true fans, male, female, non-binary, or otherwise, will not turn on you for saying that you are going to push back against gender stereotypes or gender roles or sexism or misogyny, and that you're not going to be manipulated. Those are things that we should celebrate if we actually appreciate and support the people saying it. So I just wanted to make that very clear for anybody who might not know it, and for anybody who needs to hear it. I know that person tried to change this and make this into something that was about mental health and about young men needing resources. That is absolute nonsense. That is not true. There are problems with mental health. There are people who need support. There are people who need resources, and they should have them. Men, women, non-binary people, everybody should get the help that they need. That has nothing to do with XG. XG was not trying to deprive anybody of therapy or resources or anything like that. So to tie those two things together is honestly insane. That person sounds insane for saying those things. And I want to make that clear. I don't want anybody to watch that video, young men especially, and think, oh, wow, that's a good point, because then you're going to become part of the problem too. And I think that as men, we need to be allies. We need to make sure that we are being mindful of when we're being manipulated, and that person is trying to manipulate people into supporting him being insecure, him being feeling inadequate, him being threatened by women seeking empowerment and authority and freedom. And if you need to bring other people down to feel better about yourself, I think at this point we all know that means there's something wrong with you, not with everybody else. And if you know XG's music, you know that's not what they're about. They're not trying to bring anybody down. They're building themselves up. They are supporting themselves. They're being strong. They're inspiring their fans. They're trying to gain new fans and inspire them. They don't need to worry about an insecure guy on a YouTube channel or his followers, because you're going to do all the stressing for them by being so insecure. They don't need to care about you, and they don't. And the only reason I do is because I see that you are potentially hurting people who have nothing to do with you and shouldn't have to worry about what you think or what you say or what you inspire other people to think, do, or say. So my final message is that this is not men versus women. This is insecure men and inadequate men who are threatened and scared of strong women and non-binary people and other men who support women and non-binary people. That's another thing, that people like that will look at people like me and think that there's something wrong with me for supporting the women and the non-binary people who they want to attack. And that's also ridiculous. That doesn't bother me personally, but I also worry that there will be people affected by that they don't want to be judged, they don't want to be attacked, so they're going to stay silent. And I'm hoping that making this video will inspire people to realize that, even if you're not talking about you, you can think, oh, he's talking about women, that's not me. It doesn't matter. It's your job to stand up for other people when they're being attacked, and you can do something about it. So I don't think anybody should watch that person's videos. I don't think you should engage him or his fans. I think that we should just support the women and the men in groups who are not doing anything wrong to anybody. They're just expressing themselves. They're just doing their jobs. They're just being entertainers. They're being artists, and not let some of these people read into it and come up with these conspiracy theories and these sick messages that obviously are not the point of the song. The point of the song is what scares them, really. He knows that it's not about attacking men. He knows that it's not about men's mental health. He knows that it's about women being strong and having their own voices and being their own bosses and not being manipulated or controlled by men. And for men like that, that is what scares them, because that's what they want, because that's what they need to feel like they're worth something, because they can't feel like they're worth something unless other people feel like they're worth less. So don't let those people bring you down. Don't give them the attention. Just build each other up, love each other, support your groups. Let me know in the comments what you think. You can let me know if you think I'm wrong. That person turned off their comments because they were being criticized. I wouldn't do that unless I felt I needed to turn off the comments to protect like my audience or defend the groups or something, if maybe it becomes a toxic environment. But I welcome actual conversation and other points of view, and I hope that either I've made some people feel a little better or maybe prevented some people from agreeing or being kind of confused by his message, and if not, at least I tried. So let me know what you think. Support your groups, support women, support non-binary people, both artists and fans. We don't need to let those insecure men bring anybody down. They're going to hold themselves down. We don't need to do it for them either. That's all I got for now, and until next time, stay fresh.